Welcome back to Brandon's Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the USA Paralympian Alpine-Skier, Andrew Kurka. How are you doing today?
I'm well, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into alpine skiing?
Well, I knew alpine skiing was my sport the very first time I tried it. So I was a wrestler and I was an avid athlete prior to when I got injured. And I had always wanted to compete, and I wanted to be an Olympic wrestler originally, but after I broke my back, things kind of took like a drastic 360 in my life, and I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted the next steps to be. And it was after I went to an event for the Children's Miracle Network where I got to meet a young man who had terminal cancer, helped me to realize my true potential, because he was like living with a smile and he was loving life. And I was like, okay. Well, if this kid here with this uncertain future is loving life so much, what do I have to complain about? What do I have to whine about? And that was when when I got back to Alaska, I just decided to try everything that I could. And I went from being, a 6-time state wrestling champion to starting to wrestle again after my injury. And then I started skiing again. And to answer your question, blatant and simple, it was the very first moment I tried it. I went down the mountain, fell at the bottom, and then said, you know what, this is for me. I love it. And everyone was freaking out because I went straight down the mountain. And apparently, like, I almost hit a tree or something stupid. I don't know. But I had fun. And I said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be the best in the world at this. And so I did.
What was that like finding, obviously, after your accident, what was that like finding the sport that you fell in love with, alpine skiing?
I suppose it was just freeing. As an athlete, competition has always been a huge portion of my life. And when competition's taken away from you and you're not sure really what's next in life, when you're finally reintroduced to that one thing that you love and you realize that you can do it again or you can do it more, it really helps to, I suppose, breathe new life into you. And that's what skiing did to me. That's why I love it.
How did it feel when you made the national team?
When I first made the national team, it was very exciting. But you got to realize, Brandon, I made the national team like 12 years ago. I'm a veteran on the team, like I've been doing this for a while. I've got multiple medals and very good world rankings. And I'm a very solidified athlete in my position. I'm almost close to retiring. You might not be able to tell from my baby face, but I'm actually pretty old. I've been doing this a while.
What was that like when you first came into the sport and you got into being on the national team?
When I first got into sport and I first made the national team, things were kind of tough because I was a young new guy looking for my way, and I made the team very quickly. It wasn't like I fought to make the team for years and years. And I was just fit. And I kind of showed up and started racing and started winning things. It was my gung-ho attitude that got me to the top very quickly. So I don't think I made a lot of enemies, but I would say a lot of people were a little offended by me making it to where I was so quickly. And now that's not the case because I've been here for a while. But I think that was the case then. So it was very exciting, but it was also kind of a rough transition.
How was that like making your first debut on the international level?
Man, I don't know. That was years ago. My first debut on the international level. Actually, you know what? I remember. It was 12 years ago. It was in Park City. Not Park City. It was in Winter Park. Sorry. It was in Winter Park, Colorado. And racing from the top to the bottom. I actually wasn't able to get my time, but it was pretty cool because all the international competition came up to me and they asked who I was. And that that in itself is an honor, that people want to know who you are before you ever become someone. I think that was a light shining on who I was going to be, the successes that I was going to have. Pretty honorable.
Of course, what was it like competing in Alaska during your first time?
I actually haven't competed in Alaska, to be honest with you. I've always traveled to compete. I raised money and I traveled to compete. I guess that goes to show how dedicated I was to it. I live 6 months out of the year away from my home in Alaska just so I can train and just so I can compete. That's going to change here soon because I just started up a business. I take people with disabilities out fishing and hunting, and I own a bed and breakfast, and I own a travel agency. So that's what I do now. And I'm still going to keep competing, but that's a little bit more. Like, my dedication to sport is starting to wane as the other portions of my life start to grow.
Of course, what was it like going down the giant slope and the SuperG slope?
You mean at any specific event or when?
Just any specific event.
Well, since we're kind of talking about when I first started out, I'll keep with that theme. All right. And the GS was a little nerve-wracking. I didn't become good at GS until later on in my career. SuperG, though, when I first started out, I was good at it. My very first real SuperG competition, I got a silver medal. And it was right behind Tyler Walker, who's retired now, but he's a good friend of mine. He's a really good competitor. He'd be great on your show. He's a retired athlete and also a sports representative for our sport, which is a huge honor. He's a pretty cool character and a pretty cool fella. And he was also kind of my mentor as I was growing up in athletics. He helped me to be as good as I am today. Without him, I wouldn't be anything.
What was that feeling like of going to the 2014 Winter Paralympics?
It was very exciting, very nerve-wracking. I was nervous, but I was ready to send it. Unfortunately, I was a little bit too ready to send it. I sent it in the downhill off my first run, and I crashed and broke my back again. And that was a huge learning experience for me. And I was hoping injuries would start to slow down after that. But I just recently got injured again in Beijing. And it seems like injuries in this sport just keep flogging me. And I wish I could get away from them, but it's just the way it is.
How's that feeling like in 2018 going to South Korea to win your first medal?
I was very relaxed. That was my feeling. The feeling was very relaxed. Winning was a huge honor. But I didn't really have goals or my eyes or sights set on winning. I had my sights set on doing the best that I could as an athlete, doing the best that I could as an individual, doing the best that I could as Andrew Kurka. And I had my sights set on that in this last games in Beijing. But unfortunately, a heavy wind took me out just prior to my race. And so that was unfortunate.
What were some similarities and differences between obviously competing in the Paralympic level versus the World Cup level?
Honestly, man, competitive wise, there isn't any difference. Competing at the World Cup level and competing at the Paralympics pretty much is the same thing. The only difference is the rest of the world and like media and everything like that take the Paralympics so much more serious than they do the World Cup. And it's sad, but it's true. And I wish it wasn't.
What is it like preparing as an Olympian going to the Paralympics?
What was your question?
What was it like preparing for the Paralympics?
Preparing for the Paralympics, I think is harder than actually going. Because it's the lead up to it that you really have to make sure that you're physically fit, make sure that you're psychologically fit, and then make sure that you're emotionally fit and like you're ready to compete when you arrive. And then once you get there, everything's just kind of easy. You're like, all right, sweet, I'm ready. I just do what I'm here to do. But it's preparation for it that is the hardest part. And I think a lot of people, they don't really realize that. They think athletes just kind of show up and compete and win stuff or lose stuff, you know. But no, it's a way of life, and it's how we make our living. And it's not always easy.
Leading up to the Paralympics game day, what is it like on game day getting ready to obviously represent the country?
For me personally, I take as many runs as I can, make sure my body is as physically fit as it can be. So I do free run after free run to be ready for my race. And then I try my best to relax. I calm down, I get mentally focused, and then I push out of that start gate.
What is the feeling like of getting to represent Team USA and getting to put on the Team USA gear?
That's an honor. That's an honor in and of itself, not just to represent my home state of Alaska, but to be able to represent, you know, my country is pretty cool. You know, it shows that, hey, I was chosen as one of the world's best athletes to represent my country. And the cool thing about sport is it brings everyone together. You know, people really, really love sport. People love watching sports. People love the action of sports. And it's something that can transcend boundaries between countries and between politics and things of that nature. And it's when we take things like sport and we stop allowing them to transcend that things start going awry or things start going haywire. Similar to like what's happening in Russia and Ukraine right now, which is pretty unfortunate.
How did it feel the first time you became a Paralympic and a bronze medal and had Paralympian behind your last name?
That was pretty cool. I think it's kind of like the award of earning the name or the title doctor, you know. And I haven't won a bronze medal. I've only won a gold and a silver medal at the Paralympics. And I was close to winning a gold here at Beijing too, if I didn't get injured.
What was that feeling like of winning gold medal and putting it around your neck?
Imagine every single day you wake up with a single goal in mind. For 12 years, you work as hard as you can. And then finally that goal is accomplished and everything that you've been working for is given to you. That's what it's like. It's an overwhelming feeling of, for me, peace and contentment. You know, like, hey, everything that I've gone through was worth it. And everything that I've been through, all the broken bones throughout my career, Brandon, I've broken over 22 bones. You know, I've fought very hard throughout my career to achieve success. And all of that came to fruition in one moment when I won that gold medal. And I can easily say that I have accomplished my dream and that I have accomplished the one thing I set out to do with that gold medal.
Of course, as you said about breaking bones and obviously injuries and stuff, what goes through your head and how do you get through, obviously, whenever you have an injury to get back and bounce back to obviously go to the Paralympic level?
You know, I get in trouble for this a lot, but mostly from doctors. But I think the secret for me, it's the same thing that's pushed me to where I am now. It's the fact that I don't focus on the injury. I focus on what I can do and doing everything that I possibly can do to get to where I want to be. And, you know, from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you sit down to watch TV at night, are you doing everything that you can to accomplish those goals or to accomplish those dreams you set out to do? And whenever I'm injured, that's exactly what I do. I set baby goals and I say, okay, I'm going to move to the next step. When I start feeling better, I'm going to start doing this. And a lot of times I get in trouble because I start being overly active, or I start working my body when my body's not quite ready yet. But so far it's panned out really well for me. I heal faster than pretty much anyone else. Doctors say it's pretty amazing, and I'm able to get back to sport as soon as I can. And I think that's due to my hard work and my tenacity. Tenacity and grit are something that athletes all need. That's what I would say to like any future generations or anyone looking to come up, is make sure that you have tenacity. And that doesn't mean that you got to be a prick about it. That doesn't mean that you have to be aggressive. That doesn't mean that you have to be mean. Having tenacity means that you are willing to work as hard as it takes, and no one's going to get in your way. And you know what? You're going to find that the people that you want beside you, they're going to work with you. They're going to help to get you there. And the people that you don't want, you're going to leave in the dust. And that's a sacrifice you have to make if you're going to be successful in sport.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments throughout your career as an alpine skier?
One of my favorite memories was at the games, and it wasn't when I won the gold medal. It was when my rival Corey Peters, when he looked at me on the podium and he said, "Man, dude, no one's going to beat you. You did it." And there's nothing quite like having a rival say that to you. It's humbling. And I've always been competitive with Corey, but I've always really, really liked him. And I think that's the thing with a rival. You got to really love your rivals, and you got to really love competing with them. I think Corey's looking towards retiring. He won the gold medal in the downhill at this last games in Beijing.
Of course, what are some of your future plans in your career moving forward?
My career, go to the next games and win. I broke my a heavy gust just prior to my best event, which is downhill and SuperG. Took me out here in Beijing. I broke my shoulder and my right thumb, where I tore all the ligaments and broke it. My goal is to come back and do well in the next games. Make myself known, because I was a heavy gold medal contender at this last games. Everyone knew it. I was extremely competitive, and now I'm looking forward to this next games. I'm gonna start really slowing down after this next games, but that's my next goal, Brandon. Man, is to do well at this next games coming up, and to be able to grow on my bed and breakfast and my travel agency.
Of course, as you prepare for this next games, what are some of the things that you are looking to prepare for?
Right now, I'm focusing on getting better. The next preparations is speed, downhill SuperG. I'm preparing with that, and then I'm going to work with my sponsors, Toyota, on the new sit ski I have, and help to customize it and make it just a little bit faster.
What advice would you give current and future people looking to go into the Paralympic Games on the alpine skiing side?
Oh, I think I answered this already. Grit and tenacity. You're going to need that. You're going to need to never quit. That's a must.
What advice would you give those people looking to go to the Paralympics for the first time or multiple times like how you have?
I think they need to stay calm, learn as much as they can, and focus on getting better every single day. It's not about whether you win or lose. It's about focusing on the process, how much better you can become every single day, not how good you are in any individual moment. You can be the best in the world. You could be the gold medal favorite. You can be taken out by something super stupid like me, a wind gust. You could be the gold medal favorite. You can be taken out, but you got to keep that tenacity, and you got to keep that grit. You got to keep that willingness to keep getting better. As long as you keep that willingness to keep getting better, you will, and you'll keep growing. And it's not always about winning. as much as it's about being the best version of yourself. That's what sport is all about. That's what brings people together, and that's why we're here.
What advice would you give Paralympians and Olympians that are obviously, once their playing career is ended, they have something to fall back on?
For me, I have a plan. And a lot of the other Paralympic athletes and Olympic athletes, I've seen they go to school and they work their way into some form of plan of the next job or the next portion of retirement. For me, it's owning a residual income, owning a bed and breakfast, owning a backup plan that helps to make me money while I'm competing. And then when I retire, I can focus on and I can make more money. And, you can always fall back on your career plan, but while you're doing your career, always make as many friends and think about it. It's an important thing to think about because you can't just be an athlete forever.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
They can find me at Andrew Kurka. Sometimes it's Andrew _Kurka. Sometimes it's Andrew -Kurka. It's always Andrew Kurka. Usually if you put in Kurka, Kurka, you'll find me.
Thank you again, Andrew Kurka, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the Paralympian as the alpine-skiing.
Thanks, Brandon. Have a good one, man.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Andrew Kurka, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks, man. Bye.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.